will be done. The trouble of the world. Ooh, trouble of the world. I remember that song from the movie Imitation of Life? And Mahalia Jackson sang that song. I'm gonna be with my Lord. So it's your man Rico, the Opinionist, on this April 4th, 2023. I thought I'd get this out before I head to the gym. April 4th, this is the day that Dr. Martin Luther King was murdered in the city of Memphis at the Lorraine Motel. Travis, was good, bro? Long time no see. And I'm not going to make this a long video if I can help. I always say that, but tend to go past 20 minutes. Let's see. How can I start this? Well, I'll just do, y'all know how I do my little opening monologue. Let's say, well, I'm on day 2. I plan to do this 5 days. So I'm on day 2 of fasting. I'm drinking my water. Last night before I went to sleep, I had a salad, apples and romaine lettuce, carrots. What else I put in that doggone thing? Apples, romaine, tomatoes. Yeah, that's a little something. So I'm gonna starve, I guess. Gotta get used to it. So I'm doing a 5-day fast. So this is day 2. This morning I drank water and I had a banana about 30 minutes ago, and nothing else except for water all day. Because I have what's called some fitness goals, and I want to share that with everybody else who at the sound of my voice or who can see my face. What else? Just like, share, and subscribe this video. Like, share, and subscribe because it's on my Facebook page as well as my YouTube channel. The Cash App, the book on my short stories 50 pages called The Greatest Pain Ever Felt. Conversation with absent biological dad who never wanted to be found. It's only $10. Cash App your boy. Please send an email address because the short story is in a PDF format. So, or you can just hit your boy with the collection plate of $10 just because, hey, you like what I'm talking about. You can PayPal or Cash App that. Hold on one second. We'll get past this construction site. Y'all almost do with these damn townhouses too. They working it out. I've been working on it steadily. Hold on. Yeah, and tell you to look at him. Look at him up there. They almost work. He on his phone. But anyway, y'all. Today's the day Dr. Martin Luther King was murdered in my hometown of Memphis, Tennessee. I was just there this past weekend. I didn't get a chance to catch any of the Dr. Umar Johnson festivities, but I think today is when he's supposed to have the Million Fathers March or something like that, or 1,000 Fathers March, or whatever it is. But knowing Memphis, they're going to half-ass it. It's just, anyway. There's been a dark cloud over Memphis since that day, 55 years ago. Been a dark cloud, and meaning not just over literally a dark cloud, but mentally dark cloud over Memphis. And I remember Vince Farrakhan said over 20 some odd years ago, maybe 30 years ago, that Memphis is the city of the dead. And my friend Pearl Walker would always say that Memphis needs an enema, a public enema. What an enema is? It sticks that up there, cleans you out, and replenishes. That's my hometown. It's been needing it for the longest. And it's like there are people there who are compounding the need for that enema. And when I was home, I felt that gloominess. When you live in an actual city, you can go across other than Memphis, other than your small towns, whatever. Memphis is not really a small town. It has close to 1 million people there. But the mindset is that of a small town because the architects and those who, I guess, run the city want to keep it that way, keep it small townish. And so that means small-mindedness. And any little bit of creativity, they think is just the wildest thing, the greatest thing. When you move to a Houston or a Los Angeles or Chicago, the suburbs, the better parts, or you move to a Dallas, Fort Worth, and you come back to a Memphis, like, really? Y'all still on that? This what y'all still doing? But what I did notice, there's stuff being built and created. It's just black folks don't seem to be a part of the new stuff that's been coming along in my hometown. And so that's the place where Dr. King was murdered. And people are finally coming to the realization of why he was actually murdered. White corporate America took his voice and they sanitized it in a way in which they can accept it. Meaning, they want to talk about when talking about reparations. That's what he was talking about. That's why he had to die. That's why he was killed. That's anybody who talks about black people coming up economically, well, they need to be taken out. And number two, whenever someone's talking this way, like black people come together as a unit, black people buy and sell with other blacks, kujiga gulia. That person, and if people start listening to him and start following him, well, that person has to be taken out. But white corporate America and all the corporations have sanitized Dr. King in the sense that they limited him to, I have a dream. And you got biracial presidential candidates and governors and people running for offices and various offices across the country. They all use that. Well, Dr. King's dream that wasn't his dream. I wrote an article and let you know that was his assignment by the black church and the uppity bourgeoisie blacks, the black religious, the black gays, and the black girls. They gave him that assignment because those three groups of blacks are the ones who understand integration, multiculturalism, then black freedom and black independence. Do I need to repeat that? So they gave him that assignment. But however, when God actually entered Dr. King's life, listen to me, and gave him a true assignment. The assignment of Moses, the assignment of Jesus, the assignment of Marcus Garvey, the assignment of Harriet, the assignment of Ida B. Wells, Burnett. And when he gave him that real assignment, the devil took notice. And also the devil's minions, be it these uppity bourgeois integrationist blacks, they took notice. And they all began to work against him because he went off script. He went off script and stopped talking about little white boys, little white girls, black girls and little white boys holding hands in a restaurant where they throw milkshakes in our face and kick us in the ass. As long as he was telling you to go and get your ass kicked and get the police sicking dogs on you, they were fine with that. When Dr. King started taking more of a Malcolm X's philosophy about reparations, the last few years of Dr. King, about 67, 66 to 68, when he started asking the question, where is our check? We're coming for our check. When that poor people's march, we're coming for our check. But then, and he had such a great influence. Oh, no. See, people who are talking like that today, black Americans are so multicultural and so out of their minds racially that you can have a Dr. Umar Johnson because a lot of blacks aren't paying him any attention anyway. But a lot of us who do pay attention and do follow his philosophy and follow Dr. Isn't this something? Look at that. Just out of nowhere. Isn't that something? Just pick that up. And so, he'll be all right. But if 5 million blacks start listening to Dr. Claude Anderson, Black Labor, White Wealth, Powernomics, if 5 million to 6 million blacks actually start paying attention and doing what Dr. Martin Luther King said in the last year of his life, we're doing what Malcolm X said, then they'll have to go. Y'all wonder why these civil rights leaders that y'all celebrate, John Lewis and all these other old fools and Andrew Young, they all got to live to be 80 and 90. Well, they were integrationists. They didn't want any freedom for blacks. Oh, y'all notice only the black freedom fighters are the ones who died early. Because when you're fighting, you really are a soldier for the Lord. Come on, somebody. You really one of God's saints. You ain't gonna march for so long. And so on this day, they called him a drum major for justice. Well, when he changed the beat of his drum and started marching to an actual drum beat of the Lord, That's when that devil had to take him out, and all his black minions got in place to make sure that assassination was able to be a successful one. And all those that were around him are now looked at as, they're civil rights icons. They're civil rights leaders. Every time I see that, I say, how come you got to live so goddamn long? If you was such a fighter, how come you got to be 80? You lived to be 80 and 90. You supposed to be on the same tip as Dr. King? No, you were nowhere near. You were just a minion, a hanger-on. And as black folks in America, in 2023, our numbers have really gone down. You know, before 1965, intact families were right at 80%, 85% intact families. Economically, you know, we weren't getting anything from the system, so we had to make it happen. Economically, educationally, that was the top thing. Learn to read, learn to write, learn how to talk, learn how to be dignified, carry yourself in a dignified manner, self-respect, all that stuff was a part of it because we understood who that open enemy was. So therefore, we were not going to let him take us out without a fight. But here we are, after Dr. King's murder. It's like we started going down as we started these deals, these programs, these systematic programs, these deals. And now look at us today. Divided. We are not marrying each other. We're having babies by people of other races and ethnicities. We don't want to keep the black legacy going. What else we doing? Our children are not learning how to read. Intact families are hardly in existence. Black kids are born over 72%, 74% out of wedlock to single mothers. You know, that don't sound nothing like Dr. King's dream. Nothing. There's black unity is depending on what celebrity you like. And if they call it just someone, a regular person that say, hey, y'all, we need to stick together. Hey, look at that shit and keep it moving. Because we got 44 million individuals. But even the smallest group of immigrants come over and have more unity than blacks, and they take full advantage of what the country has to offer. And Dr. King talked about the poor. I get that. But my question is, why the hell are there so many poor black folks in this country? I see if we're in one of the barrios of Mexico or favelas or Brazil, or in parts of the poorest parts of the bush of an African country or city. But this is the land of capitalism. Libraries are plentiful. Books are plentiful. Boutiques, all kinds of programs for people to get a leg up economically, teach yourself something. It's plentiful in this country. And I understand why so many of us still claiming poor. But Dr. King, you think if Dr. King lived to be 80 and he looked at all this foolishness, you think he would be okay with this? The Boondocks cartoon probably spelled it out the best. When Dr. King did the cartoon Dr. King, he saw them twerking and cussing and listening to rap music and hollering nigga everywhere, and he's just like, what is wrong with you niggas? He did the whole speech. I think that's what he would be saying. I think Malcolm X would be shaking his head as well. But like, it doesn't take all that, or does it? Are we that brainwashed? Are we that programmed systematically that we don't even see ourselves as a group as valuable as an entity unless some celebrity says, hey, we need to do this? But grassroots folks just don't count anymore with us. And this is the grassroots. It made a lot of our stuff happen. Not the ones y'all see on TV talking trash. Yeah, those people get paid $300,000 and $400,000 a year to be on MSNBC, CNN, and black folks. Just to talk. Well, racism is racism there, but they don't bring it to the community. You ever notice that? Now, they'll try to get you to do a voters drive to vote for a Democrat, but they never bring the economics of what they're saying to these black neighborhoods. But also, why are these schools failing? You got all these so-called parents. It's just amazing. And so on this day, Dr. King's murder. I'll turn back around. Go this way. So this day of Dr. King's murder, we really have to regroup some things. Rethink some things. We need to really closely examine our behavior here in this country. It doesn't make any sense. Of course, Americanist is a part of everybody, every group here. But as black folks, we just really let Dr. King down. Really let him down. Doesn't make any sense. For us to still be at the top of all the negative statistics and at the bottom of all of the good statistics. No, we should have more children in STEM. We should have more children who are succeeding. Why are so many black kids still living in poverty? I asked the question because y'all know the answer. The parents. Why would you get pregnant in the ghetto by a Negro who lives in the ghetto? Then y'all have a little ghetto baby, and that poor little innocent baby who didn't pick neither one of you mother lovers have to try to scrape and scratch and strategize his or her way through this jungle we call the hood. It's disgusting. And people, even as we speak, some little 15-year-old bitch, some little 30-year-old broad with 4 baby dads and fit to have a 5th kid by a 6th baby daddy in the ghetto. They get pregnant and bring another little kid here to be poor. Who the fuck does that? Oh yeah, the American Negro. Not all, but too many. And then sometimes you can't help when folks say, you know what, damn all that. As soon as they get a raise in their job, they gonna move. But the thing is, what Dr. King was talking about, it's like, toward the last few years of his life, he was talking about black economics. I don't know why we don't understand that. We only understand economics when we're giving it over to other people. Versace, Gucci. Who else all these? I don't even know the names. All the cologne manufacturers, all the belts and purses and shoes, Jordans and all that shit. We know about our economics then, but we can't seem to put our $1.5 billion worth of economics, in our favor in this country. It's the weirdest thing. And it's a mindset. When I went home to Memphis, and I've always had this conversation with some of my friends who's still there in Memphis. And just in general, any of these black neighborhoods, be it Detroit, Chicago, St. Louis, whatever, it's a mindset. Because I grew up poor. I grew up in North Memphis. Shout out to Hollywood, Springdale. You hear me? Yeah, with the Cypress, Hollywood Elementary, the Frazier. But in my mind, I knew I was economically poor. We didn't know until we got to school. People started checking your shoes and your clothes and stuff, petty stuff that keep poor black kids preoccupied or distracted from why they're in school. But me being poor, that was my economics. It wasn't my mind. I wasn't poor mentally. And my brother and I, we grew up in the same stuff, especially when crack hit in the 80s. We were there. We saw it happen. Our poor little street turned around. Man, it was everywhere. Hollywood, Springdale was on fire, full of dope. Crack everywhere. But my mind was already, I never thought to go out and sell crack to other black people. I never thought to go out and rob other black people. I never thought, come on somebody, to join a gang and terrorize my neighborhood. I never thought any of that because poverty, like Dr. Ben Carson said, y'all hated when he said it, it's the truth. It's a mindset. You can grow up economically poor, but you don't have to have the poor mindset. Hey, I'm Myrtle. And that is what's going on. We got a lot of mentally poor blacks in this country. And I grew up with that stuff. Food stamps, welfare, all of that. But my mind wasn't poor. So I walked right past all the foolishness that was going on in my neighborhood or outside the neighborhood, or Hollywood and Springdale and Chelsea, straight up, shout out to Night and Day and all of that. But the fish market up there. So I walked past all of that. When they was out there wanting to sell crack, the dudes my age group, I got on the bus in high school, went out, caught the 32 Hollywood and transferred to the 53 something, went to my little after school job. Along with selling candy for this brother by the name of Archie Muhammad. Shout out to Archie Muhammad if he's still with us. Sold candy for him. I always got out and tried to work. I didn't allow my poor mindset to cause me to go out and hurt people who look like me. So that's why I don't have any empathy or sympathy for folks. Well, you know, man, hi, man, mother trying to eat. Well, hell, I was trying to eat too. That's why I took my ass to work. To help out. Help my mom and help myself. A lot of those cats y'all don't want to admit, a lot of them is in jail today. They were selling crack to help their mom and their sisters out. They had no dads there. A lot of these dudes rotting in jail because their moms allowed them to sacrifice their lives so they can help her lazy behind. You couldn't stop at the first child you had, you lazy helper. Knowing that you ain't have no money, but you decide to have a couple of more, so that put the pressure on the male children in the family to go out there to help out. That's not the role of children. You're the parent. Stuff's supposed to already be in place before they come here. But we doing the shit so backwards. So, as I remember Dr. King on the day he was murdered, I'm examining to see if anybody paid attention or was anybody ever taught the true meaning of what he was talking about. See, white corporate America already fed us. I have a dream. Dr. King's dream, but when Dr. King woke up and came into the reality of things, that's when he started talking about money. One thing I'm not going to take away from the hustlers and the street guys, they understand you can't make no plans without any money in your hands. You hear me? You can't. But even though I believe that as well, I also believe in I don't have to hurt anybody else in order for me to come up. And I always believe that. I never, you know, but I look at these folks out here doing all kinds of stuff, hurting your own. That reminds me, somebody said that to me years ago when I was I think I was like 18 or 19 years old. We were talking about people selling drugs in our community. And I was like, man, if I ever have to come back home to live here in my neighborhood and people are selling drugs, don't make sure the cops knows. And one of the other guys that was in our group, when we were having this group discussion, he said, man, that's messed up. Why you want to hurt your own? Yeah. So the idea of cleaning up crime and criminal discomfort for the people who live in my neighborhood was considered almost like selling out and hurting my own. Not the selling of the dope, not the gang banging, not all that, but me suggesting that I'm telling you, we fucked up. We're really messed up. And so here we are today, 55 years later, and we're still wondering, you know, how do we master this thing called America? How do we master this thing called capitalism? And we've been in America for, 400 years? We've literally been physically free for 144 years. And we still have not mastered this as a group. Now, there are those of us who come out and escape the matrix and got a chance to, you know, make a decent living and go to college or go to boat tech or go to trade school and, you know, plumbers, teachers, principals, professors, you name it. You know, small business owners. They're able to escape the matrix, but the masses of us were still lacking after being over here 144 years. So somebody didn't teach their kids. Somebody didn't share the last 2 years of Dr. King's life to them. What up, Tino? Cuzzo? Somebody didn't teach them. Because hustling doesn't have to mean Bumpy Johnson and John Dillinger and Scarface. It doesn't have to mean that. Hustling means let me hustle these books, let me hustle this business plan, let me hustle, put these hours, this time in to put my plan of economics into work. That to me is what hustling is. But you're out here trying to sell dope. You're out here trying to, you know, sell weed and rap and call everybody black and use the N-word. Call everybody black the N-word and suggest violence being done to other black men. You can keep all that. I don't give a damn if you have $5, 10, 20, $30 million. I'm not going to respect you. But I don't care how you made your money. Hell, now if you made your money from selling toilets, hey, or selling cleaning supplies, hey, that's legitimate. But you want to sell dope, sell sex and all of that? Well, you ain't hurting nobody but yourself when you sell. Prostitutes don't hurt nobody. Male strippers don't hurt nobody. So I'm not, so scratch that there. That's something you got to walk up to. You know, and shout out to the strippers. You know, just don't y'all think y'all legitimate females out here. But, you know, after you got to shook your ass and sold your ass, all of a sudden now you want to be looked at as Shanae referred to as a lady. No, you're not a lady. You're still a whore. But anyway, and that's not me coming from a prude perspective, because I'm not a prude. I'm nowhere perfect. I always come from a place of practice. Hallelujah. But I do make observations. So, Dr. King, oh no, I'm sorry that happened to you, because you believed that you were fighting for a noble people. You didn't know that you had to fight through a mindset that was, man, it's almost like trying to cut a thick block of government cheese with a toothpick. That's how brick-headed we are as a group. That mindset, that mental health, that training, that engineering has really taken over. Because, you know, we are not the same black folks that were newly released from the plantation in 1865. Yeah, we're not even those folks who survived the plantation. Because the folks who newly released or freed, well, again, they didn't have anything. All they had was their minds and their ingenuity to know how to use their hands. They understood their assignment. I need shelter. I need food. I need clothing. So what they do? The white folks that released them weren't going to give them nothing. So they made use of what was around them. They built their own homes. They had their animals. They raised their own animals and fed themselves, sold their own clothes. We act like we can't do none of that. We live in a time of iPhone 30, handheld drones. What else? We got technology. We act as if we can't do a damn thing. And that's why I'm wondering, why the hell so many of us still poor? I know COVID knocked a lot of us down. I'm one of them. I'm still trying to come back. But I'm keeping my spirits high and trying to think of something else, because or take this time to really invest in myself. Because I'm like any other person. I worked a lot of jobs, and I enjoy my work. But it's time for me to really push forward while I'm still relatively young or feel pretty good. Before you know it, stuff will catch up on you. Goddamn, you be laying in bed, hospital. So, but anyway, Dr. King, sorry that happened to you. And I guess I need to apologize on behalf of us as a group in this country, that we always saying, Dr. King, Dr. King. It's almost like a slap in the face. When you look around the masses of us, it's almost like you never existed, except for in white corporate America. They'll keep saying, oh, I have a dream. They'll put your face on everything because they want white kids to absorb their kids to absorb the sanitized version of you, but not the real or the revolutionary version of you. And black people don't want the revolutionary version of you either, because we're very multicultural, integrationists, we're assimilators, but we still don't have any money. We still don't have any black unity or cohesiveness. But anyway, rest in peace and rest in power, Dr. King, on this, this 55th anniversary of your murder. And I also say your betrayal, because you were surrounded by a lot of Judases, and those sons of Judases got to live to be 80 years old and be given all these accolades for being civil rights leaders and icons. They ain't shit. They ain't shit. And when I see all that civil rights, then hold on, in closing, you got these Caucasians. I marched with Dr. King. I don't give a shit. That's stupid. But none of them Caucasians ever stood up for reparations. They didn't stand with him when he was saying, where's our check? None of those Judases that was walking with him and standing with him on that Pettis Bridge or whatever, they never said reparations, because that's the only key. If you don't drop the check off, drop the money off like you did every other group America, fuck all that unity. We get along just fine. You see all these mixed kids out here? Yeah, we was having mixed kids during the height of slavery. Most of it by force. Yeah, 97% of it by force. Shout out to the first breed of mulattoes out there. But anyway, I digress. Y'all be cool. I got another video I want to make. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Talk to y'all later. Peace.